Jonathan Bennett feels unapologetically myself after making most powerful decision. The air in Firehouse 51 hummed with a quiet, almost fragile victory. The dark cloud that had loomed over Pascal, the new chief, had finally dissipated. It was Severide, with his relentless dedication and sharp intuition, who had pieced together the truth, unmasking the deception that had targeted their leader. The relief was palpable, a collective sigh of firefighters who had stood by their chief, even when the evidence seemed stacked against him. Pascal, typically stoic and reserved, had shown a rare vulnerability in the aftermath, a silent acknowledgement of gratitude that resonated deeply with Severide. The incident had forged an unexpected, yet profound, connection between the two men, anchoring Pascal more firmly within the heart of 51. For Pascal, Firehouse 51 was gradually becoming more than just a posting. It was evolving into a sanctuary, a place where the clamor of the outside world faded, replaced by the rhythmic beat of shared purpose and unwavering loyalty. He found himself lingering after shifts, drawn into the easy banter of the common room, the quiet camaraderie of a shared meal. The initial formality in his interactions softened, replaced by genuine curiosity about the lives of his crew. He saw their dedication, their willingness to put themselves on the line for strangers, and in doing so, he began to see his own past, his own burdens, through a different lens. This was home, a realization that settled deep in his bones, bringing with it both comfort and a renewed sense of responsibility. Yet even as the walls of 51 embraced him, a shadow from Pascal's past lingered, a personal matter that he had, perhaps unwisely, allowed to intertwine with his professional life. It revolved around a figure named Silas Thorne, a man whose cunning and influence had long evaded accountability for a grave injustice. Thorne had, years ago, caused significant hardship for Monica, a former colleague and someone Pascal held in high regard. A deep-seated sense of unfinished business, a quiet vow to see justice prevail for Monica, gnawed at Pascal. He believed with unwavering conviction that Thorne needed to answer for his past actions. This pursuit, though personal, began to consume a part of him, pulling him away from the singular focus Firehouse 51 demanded. It was his subtle vulnerability, his Achilles heel, a pursuit that Severide, with his keen observational skills, had begun to sense, a faint discordant note in the harmony that was 51. The fragile peace at 51 was soon disturbed by an external tremor. Whispers of a city-wide restructuring within the fire department began to circulate, escalating into tangible reality with the arrival of an auditor. This wasn't just a routine check. It was an extensive, rigorous evaluation, driven by directives to streamline operations and identify areas for efficiency, a euphemism for budget reductions. The atmosphere shifted from one of victory to one of apprehension. Every move was scrutinized, every expenditure questioned. The weight of this uncertainty pressed down on everyone, from the most seasoned veterans to the newest recruits. Conversations became hushed, laughter less frequent. The unspoken question hung heavy in the air. Who would be impacted by these changes? The showrunner had articulated it starkly. Nobody's safe in this shakeup. Severide, ever attuned to the pulse of the firehouse, noticed the growing tension. He saw the subtle anxieties etched on the faces of his colleagues, the quiet discussions about job security and future prospects. He also observed Pascal, who, despite his outwardly composed demeanor, seemed increasingly preoccupied. There were moments when Pascal's gaze would drift, a faraway look in his eyes, as if wrestling with an unseen opponent. Severide's previous investigation had brought them closer, allowing him a glimpse into Pascal's deeper motivations, but this new preoccupation felt different, more personal, and potentially more perilous. He worried that Pascal's dedication to a personal quest might inadvertently put himself, or even the firehouse, in a vulnerable position precisely when stability was paramount. The crisis, when it inevitably arrived, stemmed from Pascal's relentless pursuit of Silas Thorne. Pascal, in his zeal to secure justice for Monica, had leveraged subtle pieces of information gleaned from his position, acting on a tip that Thorne was involved in a property scheme that threatened to displace vulnerable families. His actions, while ethically driven, skirted the edges of official protocol. This oversight, small at first, snowballed when Thorne, sensing Pascal's personal involvement, retaliated by leaking carefully distorted information to the department's internal affairs, suggesting Pascal had abused his authority for personal gain. The timing was catastrophic, coinciding precisely with the auditor's final review.